So Heidi, you've done quite a lot on wellness, both in your department but also in the wider hospital. What? And this is all pre-pandemic. So what made you think that this was needed?
It probably went back to 2016, which I think, if you look at the A&E data, that was when we had the first really, what I would say, bad winter bed crisis, where we really were trying to deal with a very overcrowded department. And it was just seeing the level of how morale dropped, coming in, finding people crying in the morning. I remember, I don't know if you remember, we weren't there, we held a departmental Schwartz round where we just spoke to people in the department. And I remember one of the nurses saying she had to sit in her car for an hour every night and cry before she was able to drive home. So I think at that time I sort of began to think we needed to really treat staff well-being, and I suppose now I've been able to send that their experience at work in exactly the same way we treat other things that are important, like patient safety, learning, or education, performance. I felt it had to be a thing. It became very important to me that this was a thing that was given the same amount of time and attention, and a space was held for it.
And how did you go about sort of working out what you wanted to offer, what you wanted to do, and what were your own personal, what had you done in your life, I suppose, to deal with things?
So I suspect because I was starting something that was very new, it gave me a degree of freedom to just make it up as I went along, because nobody was really interested. So I decided, I think it started, we have teaching in the emergency medicine department, which is called 10 at 10 teaching, which is we deliver 10 to 20 minutes of teaching every morning at 10 o'clock. And we normally do it in the shop floor, and it's normally in the clinical subjects. And I realised trying to find a new time to do wellness was impossible. So actually the best way was to take over something that already existed. So that was a very important lesson I've learned. And a lot of these slots were empty, a lot of these 10 at 10 slots. So I thought, right, I'll take them over and I'll do wellness in them. And then I thought of maybe a talk. I started to try and do talks, etc., and I started doing that. And then I'm sort of quite interested in creativity. I'm part of a creative writing group. I also done quite a lot of theatre projects. So I came upon the ideas that, particularly in theatre projects, what they will do when they're getting, I suppose, theatre casts, turning, as I know, say, individuals into an ensemble cast, they play a lot of these games. Okay, and these are not sophisticated games. They're very sort of games you might have played at children's birthday parties. But there's a lot goes onto the surface, because they're there to energise actors and actresses. They're there to build connections. They're there to build sensitivity between people. So I thought, well, actually, why don't we play some games in 10 at 10? So that was the first time I did it. The very first time I did it, I came upon this idea. I spoke to Joe, who was our practice development nurse. I said, can we take everybody round during 10 at 10 into the seminar room and play some games? Even I wasn't going to play them in the shop floor. And I said, can you do it? Because she had been a previous children's entertainer. So she said, fine, I'll do it. And the night before, I remember lying in bed thinking, what? This is just insane. Why am I doing this? And when she came to take everybody around the back, I remember just sitting in the department in this kind of slightly hyperventilatory state, thinking, something's going to happen and somebody's going to come down and they're going to say to me, where is everybody? And I'm going to have to utter the words, I've sent them all around the back to play games with each other, and I'm going to get into such trouble. And then the 15 minutes are up, and they all came out, and they were all happy. And I remember somebody saying, yeah, we thought, what on earth are you doing to begin with? But it was really good. We really enjoyed it. So that was really the start of using what I would say fun creativity to facilitate well-being.
Thank you. And you must have had lots of blocks and resistance. How did you overcome some of these? I mean, you said you used the 10 at 10 time, but were there other things you had to, funding and things like that?
I think, it's been an uphill struggle. The first sort of way I overcame the blocks and resistance probably is, again, what I've learned, don't tell anybody what I'm doing. And then nobody really knew, so then nobody blocked me. But that worked a treat, the first. That was a really successful ploy for the first bit of it. And then, unfortunately, I presented it, and then everybody knew what I was up to. So then I think I was under surveillance for a bit. I think to begin with, if I rewind the clock to 2016, 2017, 2018, when I really started doing this, remarkable as it sounds, people were not really talking about staff well-being. So the first time I presented it, I had to use American data because we had no British data whatsoever.
Really?
And I think at that time, nobody thought it was that important. So I was trying to do something that seemed absolutely trivial, like fun and creativity, to do something that nobody deemed was important. So I just had to basically just persist. And I think the best piece of advice I was given was go where you're wanted. So, I went on Twitter, I sort of made a little bit of a name for myself. Various people would ask me to come to other departments, go to other hospitals. Every time I was asked to go and speak about it somewhere else, I'd go and speak about it somewhere else. And it gained a kind of momentum of its own.
Thank you. I mean, my own. I did a few sessions with silk painting, and it was really fun. It just means that people come out of themselves. They make bonds with the people they work with, and actually, I suspect the evidence shows that they work faster when they go back because they're much happier.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much, Heidi. There's your badge. Can I have the mark back?